cool as ever. She's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count our chairs.
Our guy Joshy had a bad weekend.
Oh, Baruba.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride. She's
Chewy's back in studio.
I am.
She's too excited.
It's much easier here.
Oh, you think? It's so much easier. Everything's easier.
Yes. Except getting up.
Gabe is not with us this week. He is golfing in Vegas, but Joshy had a bad weekend.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, I realized I don't got it anymore. That was my biggest takeaway.
When did you lose it?
Don't know, but I don't have it.
You know what would have helped with that is if we had to renew the athlete card every year. We would know
That in TSA.
when you lost it.
I could safely say mine's expired.
Okay.
I was playing some wiffle ball over the weekend. Now, going into this, I thought it was going to be just like get some friends together, have fun, nothing too serious. And I showed up and it was a competitive game. And things got out of hand. I used to credit myself because I've played softball, dodgeball, those things as an adult. And I always managed not to get hurt because I'm not diving for things. I'm not necessarily... If it's a close play, I'm just going to let the play happen. Well, running from second to third, I felt a pop in the lower part of my leg. And now, if you watch sports, you know a pop in the back of the lower leg, you immediately start thinking Achilles.
Well, especially lately when we saw Rodgers and the thing just reverbed, and then we saw Kirk Cousins, and once we saw Rodgers, then every time a guy had that happen, we were like, boom, Achilles.
Yeah.
We all became Doogie Howser, MD, where we were like, that's an Achilles.
But second to third in wiffle ball is probably, 15 feet?
20
Am I right?
maybe. It's a
20?
short
Okay.
distance.
I'm just setting the picture.
Yes, and it happened when I pushed off. So basically, there's ceilings, walls in play. It's indoor. And the ball can ricochet, which means it's live. So basically, I didn't think I was going to need to run, and then I needed to. So I pushed off, likely on my toe in a weird way. And about step one was a pop. And I don't know if you guys have experienced the pop in the leg at all.
Have
Yeah.
not.
But it is terrifying.
I did tear my ACL. That was a pop in the knee.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about the ACL, did you ever tear an ACL? No, right?
No.
The crazy thing about the ACL is it hurts immediately, right?
Yeah.
Shooting pain. But then kind of wears off a little.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
I think I'm fine.
I'm good. I can do some stuff.
Did you know you did it right away, though?
Well, I remember the pop.
Yeah.
And then I was like, same thing. It got real hot, hurt. But then you sat for a few minutes and it was like, I think I'm good. Yeah. Went right back to doing what I was doing.
Oh.
Right back to it. I had an ACL tear for a year, 2 years.
Without
3.
knowing it?
No, I didn't know it because I hadn't gone to the doctor about it. I was
That's
just
a good
like,
way to avoid it.
yeah. Ignorance, as they say, is bliss.
I tore my calf, and actually in pregame, and they thought I was lying. I remember it like as yesterday. We were playing Tennessee. I think it was the last game of the year, and they had to bring in sand because the grass was just destroyed. So it was like running on the beach. So I was just in warm-ups trying to get loose, and like Josh, he felt a pop in my calf, and I'm like, that's not good.
Wait, why would they think you were lying? Did you have a history of lying about injuries?
There was the jet ski, but no. But I mean, it was pregame. It was
So they're like,
pregame.
how the hell do you hurt yourself?
In pregame, I'm like, well, we're running on the beach. So I tried going 2 plays, couldn't do it. So typically they don't MRI. They do now. They MRI everything. But this is probably 97, where they didn't MRI everything. So they decide to MRI my calf, and there's a 3-inch tear in the back of it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
suck it.
Yeah, I wasn't lying. How embarrassed are you, Joshy?
Extremely. Especially when you're with like 12 other guys and everyone's like, hey, you okay? And you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm fine. Now that I've dispelled the Achilles or anything major, I just have like a calf strain. It's definitely a tear because I can feel the 2 locations where it did
Split.
separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That hurts, though, doesn't it?
it's
It's like a knife.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
it hurts.
exactly
it hurts
like a
bad.
knife.
Like
And I
right
had
now?
No. Now, like pain meds and icing and elevating and all that, the only pain I really get is when I like try and push off it too hard.
So
like,
can you walk?
yeah, it's ugly. It's slow. And I also learned, because I've never really had anything like this. I partially tore my MCL once, but that was crutches and I kind of just got through it. When you have a limp, you're using different muscles, so those are now sore. So it's just a whole disaster. I did stay out the rest of the day, though, pat on the back to me. I didn't call it a quits after that because it was an all-day type of extravaganza.
You couldn't have been much use to the team, though.
Oh, no, I didn't play. I physically couldn't play.
So in said wiffle ball game, were there beverages involved?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Dehydrates you.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been smart to stretch.
To be fair, I almost did text you after you said that this happened saying, well, if you weren't an alcoholic.
I had only had one beer at that point.
Sure you did. What, to brush your teeth in the morning? Or
But yeah, there's nothing. It's wiffle ball.
yeah,
like,
which is awesome.
It's very fun. But if it was anything, like if I was playing pickup basketball and did this, I'd be like, yeah, that's, that can happen. But like wiffle ball is a kid's game, even though adults play it and it gets competitive. It's like, I was embarrassed to tell my girlfriend.
No sympathy?
None. Zero.
Sounds like mine.
How did it become so competitive, though? If you went into it thinking it was just going to be a fun afternoon of you guys kind of,
Well, they knew
screwing
that.
around.
I'm a ancillary, a tertiary member of this friend group. So I was brought into this plan late. But like I've gone to this location before and done the same thing with like Gabe and Pratik and all the people around here. And all it was like you're throwing the ball around, you're trying to hit home runs, nothing more than that. This was full-fledged 9-inning baseball, wiffle ball game with people sprinting, diving.
Wiffle ball will do that to you.
Yeah.
Just get the best out of you because
it'll get
you feel
competitive?
like a kid again.
Uh-huh. And the worst thing is you don't want to be the guy who's loafing between second and third. By the way, I was safe at third. I did make it there despite tearing my calf on the way.
One could argue.
Did you go
didn't.
down?
One could argue.
I did not go down.
You didn't go down. Huh?
I
That's
basically
impressive.
ran to third and then ran off the field and just told them someone else needs to run.
What are you doing if you show up to a game thinking it's all fun, thinking you're just enjoying some pops, and then all of a sudden it's like hardcore competitive? There's a part of me that's like, I would love to say that I would... I'm good. Somebody else can take my spot, but I'm very competitive. I'm sure I would start going hard.
What's the most competitive thing you do now?
Life.
Okay. But I mean, are you racquetball? Are you tennis?
I'm competitive with everything, Chew. Like when I go to the airport, I want to make sure I get through TSA pre-check faster and more efficiently than anyone else in the line. Like it's a sickness is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, the most strenuous thing I will do now, because my Achilles are terrible, is pickleball. And sometimes I get a little nuts at pickleball because it's stop and start and go. And I'm like, you're pushing the envelope.
Playing with fire.
Yeah.
When you think about the most embarrassing sports injuries, and I don't know if this is fair or not, but I always go back to Jonathan Lucroy, who like cut
With
his
the
hand with the suitcase, right? Like where we were going, wait, what happened? Oh, suitcase. My wife dropped a suitcase on my hand. Interesting. Feels like that didn't happen, but okay, we'll take your word for it. We'll MRI it like Chew with the calf.
With the calf, yeah.
Lucroy's the one that definitely comes to mind, but for whatever reason, baseball seems to have the strangest amount of injuries where it's like, I mean, there's like people filleting fishes that cut their hands.
Oh, avocado hand? Wasn't there a guy a couple years ago who had the avocado hand?
Yeah.
Who was it? Who was the pitcher that cut their hand playing with their drone? Like the blades from their drone cut their finger?
I don't remember who it was, but yeah, there was definitely a guy. I want to look up baseball player avocado hand.
I've got a list here. Anthony DiScalfini dropped a piano bench on his toe, causing him to miss time.
Yeah.
Well, Gabe almost lost a finger.
Micah Johnson. Micah Johnson from the White Sox is the guy who had the avocado hand. He was removing an avocado pit. Foomp, went right through the skin of the avocado and him.
Yeah.
That's a bad one, too. What else you got?
I remember Irving Fryer. You remember Irving Fryer?
No.
Played for the Patriots right before they played the Bears in 85.
Okay.
Said he stabbed himself in the thigh with a knife, but turned out it was actually his wife.
Yeah, that tracks. Yep.
Aroldis Chapman had to go on the 15-day DL because he got infection from a tattoo.
Oh, ugh. Yee, that gave me the jeeks right away.
Yeah.
I got a list here as well. Maybe we're looking at the same list. Carl Pavano had a freak accident while shoveling snow at his home on January 12th, 2013. He slipped on the ice and fell into the shovel handle, which jammed into his midsection. He had lacerated his spleen.
Yikes. Max Scherzer got bit by his dog that cut his finger and missed time from that. The worst part is just like trying to be the weekend hero. That's the part of me that hurts my ego the most. Like, what am I doing sprinting?
Yeah, but now you know.
But I did know. But I still let myself fall in the trap because the competitive juices get going, and next thing you know, you're full out sprinting, trying to beat out a ball to first base.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is there any social situation where you could say, hey guys, this got a lot more competitive than I was expecting it to. I am not in shape enough to play this game. Because as much as I would like to hear someone have that conversation and say that out loud, I don't think anybody is, Joshy.
No,
I don't think there's a single human being who has already gone into the arena, right, if you will, and then is going to go, actually, this is going to be too much for me. I don't want to get hurt, so I'm out.
I think the only way for me to reasonably avoid it is, or probably most of us, because I think a lot of people have the same competitive nature, is just simply not to go. That's the only way I could avoid any of that. Because, and let's be honest here, my injury might be the most long-lasting, but I wasn't the only one to roll an ankle or grab a hammy. Like, it was happening all over the place because as we all as happened, none of us are, like, who at our age is, except for people in extremely good shape, are doing, like, flat-out sprints anymore?
Well, have you seen Gabe and his guys play basketball?
Yeah, they're
pushing the envelope.
Here's another thing that hurts is I've picked on those guys because there's been some major injuries in those pickup games.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you going that hard? But I fell victim to it myself, and it was wiffle ball, not basketball.
I've said this before, but one of the most unusual injuries I've ever witnessed was when I was covering the Clemson-Syracuse football game. Clemson was one of the top teams in the country. They were playing at the Carrier Dome. Syracuse won the game. Big shock, big upset. So a lot of the Syracuse fans did what? Storm the field. Problem with the Carrier Dome is the field is lower than the stands by about 6 feet. So people were literally jumping out of the stands onto the field, and guess what? Broken ankle. Broken ankle. Like over and over again, right? And because they're fans, they're not high-level athletes,
right?
Leaping from this height. And is that embarrassing, or is that sort of a badge of honor? You were about to rush the field because your team just beat Clemson, the number 1 team in the country. They may have been they were top 3 or top 4 at the time. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, is that an embarrassing story? Now you're crutching around for the next 6 months because you wanted to celebrate with the team on the field.
Yeah, that's
youth and exuberance, I think, plays a factor there.
And alcohol.
Where
that's not that far down.
But I mean, the thought of having to have like any surgery or doctor visits because of any of this stuff is like, it's real embarrassing. And it's not someplace you want to be where, like, I was imagining myself having to be taken to the hospital by my significant other and being like, hey, I might have just completely blown my Achilles and here's another year of surgery and rehab.
Well, that's the thing. If it had been the Achilles, you for sure were going to the emergency room or Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's ASAP clinic. David Price left a preseason game with neck spasms when he was drying his neck with a towel. You guys, can you imagine?
Well, I got a good one with my son, who's in Barcelona. Decided to go skiing in the Alps. Right? The only experience he's had skiing is Lake Geneva.
So
Lake Geneva in the Alps. Yeah, okay.
So I'm laughing because someone here in this room also tried to do that. I don't want to name names, but it rhymes with Sten, Mata. And we went to Austria for the Special Olympics. I haven't skied since high school. And I fell down the Alps. And I'm lucky to be alive because I just was like, poof, 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 poof. My girlfriend was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And
was that the last run of the day?
And it certainly was. And the next question out of her mouth was, "When's the last time you skied?"
Yes.
I think you got to alert your partner there. If you're going skiing with someone,
That's on you.
Yeah.
Well, I've skied Osplick. It's 700 feet
And
up.
to your point, it was Wilmot Mountain that I went skiing at, in high school. We got a big show today, 800-990-3776 if you want to weigh in on anything happening on the show. Embarrassing injuries. We're going to try to help Joshy through this one. He tore his calf playing wiffle ball over the weekend. Do you have any embarrassing injuries that might make him feel better about his torn calf playing wiffle ball? 800-990-3776. Plus, free agency, the legal tampering period starts today. We should start to see some moves around noon, probably a little before noon, actually. Packers make some moves as well. Campbell is out. Kind of thought that was going to happen. We'll break that down as well. Plus, the dreaded reply all. Guess who fell victim to the dreaded reply all? All that and more coming up on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
For the most part, things are still looking pretty good out on the roads. We do have one accident. It is on the on-ramp from Layton to 94 southbound. Something to keep in mind if you're going to be heading through there. Main line's looking okay. It's just on that ramp. Otherwise, everything else is moving quite smoothly. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly sunny, breezy, mild, a high of 62. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
The moment you've been waiting for is here. Eagle Sports Range is officially open for action. It's Wisconsin's largest indoor range, offering unlimited range time in 40 lanes, which include 20 20-yard lanes and 20 50-yard lanes, and no reservations needed. Just show up and let the fun begin. With a staggering selection of 100 firearm rentals to use, every visit is a new adventure. Eagle Sports Range is also a go-to for education. Take advantage of their concealed carry classes and gun safety courses. Safety first, excitement second. Visit them out in Cudahy or online at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where education meets exhilaration.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's the first thing you do if you had more time in the day? Nap, read, talk with a friend? When you know what's more important to you, it's easier to fit it into your schedule. Therapy can help you figure that out. BetterHelp offers affordable online therapy that comes to you. Start the process in minutes and switch therapists anytime. Visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Don't you love an extra $100 in your pocket? Have a TurboTax expert file your taxes for you by March 31st to get $100 back instantly. Because no matter what moves you made last year, TurboTax makes them count. That means getting $100 back and 100% accurate taxes only from Intuit TurboTax. Must file by 3/31. Credit only applicable to federal filing fees with TurboTax full service. Offer can be modified or terminated at any time.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
How do you get to 10 in NFL in the football game? How do you do that?
You can have 5 safeties.
That's a great point.
Which would also be a great endorsement for Derek Carr.
2 field goals, 2
Continue.
safeties.
2 field goals, 2
Also
safeties.
a great endorsement for the quarterback. Continue. What else do we have?
On 94.5 ESPN.
Clint weighing in on our ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line 800-990-3776. I popped one of my hamstrings in bar league softball after 6 weeks. When it felt good enough to run again, I popped the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, this is going to be a long rehab process for me, meaning I'm not going to be doing anything competitive until I'm certain I'm back.
But even then, when you go back, won't you be playing a little bit hesitant?
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah, that's the big
And
thing.
I'll be more thorough when it comes to stretching.
Beforehand.
Yes.
Right.
Also have Mark weighing in the 262. I know everyone says that. Oh, I'm going to
Yeah, I'm
stretch
gonna
more. I'm going to stretch more. No way.
I get another beer.
I
get a stretch.
I think the amount of fear and panic felt in that, let's say, 60 to 90 seconds after when I thought I was going to have a major surgery, I think I've scared myself bleepless. is the way
Sure,
to put
but
it.
human nature is that you will forget about that pretty quickly.
I don't know. I believe in myself. I'm betting on me.
I said the same thing after I had my first child. I was like,
I'm done.
never doing that bleep again because it hurts.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I don't remember it being that bad. And then I did it again and was like, nope, yep, still that bad.
Yeah,
It's
maybe worse.
Funny how I had tricked myself into believing that it wasn't as bad as it actually was.
If you tore your ACL now, would you get it fixed? I wouldn't. Why?
Really?
Knock on wood.
Yeah, really. Just leave it alone.
I don't do anything. I mean,
Right.
I could let pickleball go by the wayside.
Yeah. I mean, it never fixed my collarbone. I've still got the broken collarbone. It's all displaced and whatnot. Just ugly. Just like, Quasimodo back
How'd
there.
you do that again?
Fell off a bike.
Okay.
Yeah, cycling.
As an adult?
Yeah, it was like 13 years ago now, but yes, I was an adult. Not mentally, because one could argue we still haven't hit that threshold. Mark weighing in saying, I tore my meniscus playing hacky sack. Keep your reactions coming in to the injuries. Yeah,
What's worse, hacky sack or wiffle ball?
for sure, hacky sack. 'Cause that's like famously supposed to be like low impact, low effort.
Stoner
Like
game.
you're
Not
just
a lot
kinda,
of moving.
yeah, you're just kinda standing there and knocking it around. 800-990-3776. Want to get to some of this Packers news this weekend. It is the legal tampering period starting today. That's just always such a funny phrase. It's like they knew that tampering was happening and they were like, well, since we know it's happening, let's at least make it legal to tamper, because free agency doesn't start for another couple of days, but it's the legal tampering period. So we will probably hear about a number of deals today pending physical as teams get their ducks in a row. And big news this weekend, Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler from ESPN are reporting that the Packers are expected to be a high spender at the safety position. That information, Joshy, was not a huge shock because we have talked about this a number of times regarding the safety position. But Chew, the names that were mentioned, Xavier McKinney, who we have talked about before, Cameron Curl,
Yep.
and Quandre Diggs. I got to be honest, I don't know a ton about Cameron Curl, but Xavier McKinney has been on my radar, in the middle of my radar screen for weeks and weeks and weeks, ever since we heard that he probably wasn't going to go back to the Giants. Now, we thought at a moment that he might be franchise tagged or transition tagged, but it looks like the Packers could be a team that is knocking on the door trying to make that happen. Your reaction to that information?
As long as the money's not out of control. 13, maybe 14. I'm sure there's going to be other bidders. But there's a lot to choose from. This guy fits because he's young, and they'd probably want him around for a little while. So I could see them getting this done as long as the money doesn't get out of control. I don't see them being major players in free agency, though. I mean, You got to do Jordan Love's got to get done. I mean, they are freeing up some money. They will get money with Bakhtiari, but this is my fear. I don't want them to go all in this year. Sprinkle a few pieces in, save for next year, and when the window starts to shut 2 or 3 years from now, then you make that San Francisco push, like they did with McCaffrey and a bunch of even who was the DN that they signed this year? Young. Even though that wasn't
Chase Young,
he didn't turn out to be a great player, but that at that time that was a pretty big move.
There was one good signal we saw over the weekend, and that was the Bears signing what's his name, Kevin Byard, who was an All-Pro at the safety position. Now he was traded and then kind of just dumped by the Eagles, but 2 years, 2 years, $15 million. So that's telling me that the market is not. Right
as
now,
high as we think.
Well, that's because it's flooded, as Chewy was saying.
Correct.
There's too many options. There are going to be guys out there who just want to land a gig.
Right.
And so they're going to be willing to take less money if it's the first offer on the table. I sent this to you guys. It was somebody tabulated it this weekend. The free agent safety market is absolutely insane. Xavier McKinney, Kyle Duggar, Justin Simmons, Cameron Curl, Eddie Jackson, Kevin Byard, Julian Blackmon, Geno Stone, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Darnell Savage, Jeremy Chin. I mean, and there are still 5 more on this list.
Yeah.
On this list. And that's not an exhaustive list. So what was the line I always tell you guys that Bill Polian told Dario when he was at ESPN? Just because you're thirsty for lemonade, don't bite a lemon. Like, you don't have to in this situation. You don't have to force the issue. You got plenty of options out there to take your time, get a guy who will fit your system and who can do all of the things. Now, not every guy on that list it fits that bill. Not every guy on that list is the safety that Hafley described, although we have joked about how there are only a few of those anyway in Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu and some of the Hall of Famers at the safety position, maybe Leroy Butler. But beyond that, it's very obvious that they have prioritized this safety position, Chew, and that's the right call, right?
It is. They probably have all they want to do is upgrade, I believe. Anything better than Darnell Savage. So they probably have 5 guys. The nice thing about McKinney is you really wouldn't have to draft anybody because he's young. And he would be around as long as they're happy with him.
Same thing goes for Curl, too. He's 24 years old.
Yeah, they would be happy. So that would take away a problem. Now, if that doesn't work out, then they go to number 3, number 4, who might be a little up in age, but the money's right. I think all they want to do is upgrade that position because from what we hear from Hafley, that position is very important.
I would still draft a safety, by the way. I would get one in free agency.
Because you need another one.
They need depth in for the defensive back positions. So I would still draft a safety. Do you think they draft a cornerback as well, Joshy?
I think a lot of it depends on what they do with Keyshawn Nixon, who reportedly they do want back. I believe that was some of the nuggets we saw over the weekend. But corner is kind of one of those positions where I think just as many bites at the apple, to take a term from the Brewers. You just want a lot of those guys because you play a lot of them and they can help on special teams. So I don't think, unless something goes wrong in the Nixon market, that it's going to be even a day 1 or day 2 type thing for them.
And I think the Packers are a team that prefer not to overspend. And that sounds simplistic. It sounds like, who prefers to overspend? No, there are absolutely franchises out there that will overpay for a player. I wonder if this is an instance, though, where you do. And overpay is not the right word in this sense if you think he's your guy. You could look at this exhaustive list that I just rattled off at the safety position, and you could eliminate, let's just throw a number out there, 9 or 10 of those guys because they don't fit. Their style of play doesn't fit, or maybe they're too old. You want to stay in the young space. So you start eliminating those guys, and you go, really, the only guy who we really, really want is McKinney. Let's just say that. And McKinney's asking price, Chew, I think you've mentioned 12, 13. I know, Josh, you were just talking about the Bears guy and how that may affect the market. I don't know. You got the money. If you think that guy's a difference maker at the position. Now, Chew, your argument to that has always been, is safety a difference maker? Can safety be a difference maker? It seems to have been devalued across the league.
Well, that's why there was so much cover 2. Everyone's playing cover 2. I think they're pivoting from that. And that changes every couple of years.
But isn't it better to be ahead of the curve on that than behind the curve?
Yeah. But with McKinney, you said draft another guy, but they can draft a guy down the line that they can develop. They don't have to spend a second-round pick where he's got to play right away. It's all about just knocking pieces down. That's why Armstead from San Francisco said they may become available. They're set at that position. You need 3. They got 3. So now you need to, I said the break glass in case of emergency. You got to address the running back position next. Because based upon what we saw last year, we think Aaron Jones is going to play 9 to maybe 12 games. And A.J. Dillon is not the guy. It's a totally different offense when he is the lead running back. And much like the safety market, the running back market is flooded as well. And I don't think those guys are going to get as much money as they think. I mean, what if Derrick Henry becomes available for $7 million a year?
I'm out on Derrick Henry.
Not even playing halftime over the.
I think he's over the hill.
It'd be nice to see, though, actually a big guy that can go for more than 3.8 yards.
I believe it was Matthew Berry who had the report that the Packers want Jones back. We all know that. Dillon, not an option, not coming back. And they were okay with Emmanuel Wilson and wanted him to have a shot, which I have questions about that being your second back. And then they said day 3 pick to fill. So Emmanuel Wilson and day 3 pick plus Aaron Jones seems to be a potential outcome.
So no Saquon Barkley, no Jonathan Taylor, as they were rumored to be interested in trading for him earlier this year. You just said they're set at defensive line? You think they're set
end, rush ends.
Okay.
They got 3 of them. I mean, they're break glass of in case of emergency. There's, I think they're fine there. They don't need to go out and get an Armstead. Interior, yeah. Maybe go get a guy there or draft one early. But there are other holes that they have to fill.
Do you think?
I mean, the linebacker position, with getting rid of Campbell, you need bodies there.
Oh, yeah. Cupboard is bare.
Yeah, you need bodies.
Because we've talked about Quay Walker and we have talked about Isaiah.
McDuffie.
Immediately, my brain was like, nope, not going to give you that information. It was sitting right there. I could see it forming, and it was just like, poof, gone. But yes, that is obviously a spot of need as well. Do you think, Chew, I'm putting you on the spot here, that we will hear that the Packers are making a move or pending physical by the end of today or by the end of tomorrow? In this legal tampering period, will we hear that the Packers are connected to a player in free agency?
Yeah, I would think so. Safety, linebacker, one of those guys coming in for a physical.
I just don't think you can wait, Josh. And maybe that's because I'm just like salivating for news. I'm salivating for something. I'm salivating for there to be some type of movement in this space. But I think if you're the Packers, you have to go out and at least address one of those needs.
With the need being so glaring and apparent and the safety having like one guy coming back for sure that's on the roster and signed, you can't lose out. Now, you don't want to be the biggest spender because that always seems to lead to the wrong thing. But if you can lock down Xavier McKinney and, he's paid towards the top of the safeties, but he's your guy and you have 24 years old and pick 36, that's a guy who can still get better. He has still a lot of room to grow at 24 years old. That, why not make that investment and say, hey, we filled that spot. We don't have to think about it now until maybe draft day when we're just adding some depth.
Yeah, but you might have to overpay because there's a lot of teams out there with a lot more money than Green Bay.
Yeah, you might have to. But you basically have to weigh it. Does it make sense to our roster? I think you can justify it pretty easily that, yes, this makes sense. This locks up a very big position of need.
And thank you to Kay Adams, who actually had Xavier McKinney on her show last week, who asked him specifically about the Packers and reuniting with a guy he had worked with at Alabama, Derek Ainsley, who is now in Green Bay. McKinney did not give any tips. He did not give any hints. He did not say whether or not he had heard or if he was interested or anything like that, because that would be actual tampering, right, Joshy?
Yeah, you can't do that. That was the guy who actually recruited him. So not even just a coach. It was like someone, those relationships, as we know in college football, your recruiter You got a good connection there.
Well, and you always want to prove that you were on the right track.
Yes.
You always want to prove that you have a good eye for talent. And, again, at 24 years old, it's not like McKinney has had a fall off where a guy would be like, you know what, I was in on him then, but I'm not in on him now. He's likely still in on him. 800-990-3776, asking you to weigh in on a number of things this morning. One, give me your embarrassing injuries. Joshy popped his calf playing wiffle ball over the weekend. We got a lot of people who are trying to make you feel better, buddy. We'll get to some of that reaction as we roll on here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You guys remember me talking about being at the State Fair this past summer and seeing a sauna. I know we've all been at the Expo Center before and thought, ooh, I kind of would like to have one of those, but it's usually probably a new set of pans, right? Well, for me, it was a Good Health sauna. So what did I do? Made the purchase. Went ahead and got one. Now it's sitting in my basement. And last night, guys, after a horrific day of travel on Saturday, the very best thing I could do was sit in my Good Health sauna for 45 minutes, watching the Academy Awards and just decompressing, detoxing from the weekend. And it's working in a number of ways. My skin feels better. I've got extra energy. I'm sleeping better. And I'm telling you guys, if you are in the space for longevity and wellness, a infrared sauna from Good Health Sauna is the way to go. Go to their website, goodhealthsaunas.com. Very easy to remember. They don't want to overcomplicate it for you. Goodhealthsaunas.com. Check out their inventory. See what they have. See if it sounds like something that would work for you. Tell them Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you when you go to goodhealthsaunas.com.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
So far, looking pretty good across the area. We do have one accident on the ramp from Layton Avenue to southbound 94, so watch out for that. Things building up a little bit on 94 eastbound, right past 68th Street. For the most part, everything else is looking pretty good, but we are seeing that building volume. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, breezy, mild, a high of 62. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, a low of 46. Weather's brought to you by Higher Love Cannabis Company. Find your Higher Love today, only 59 miles from Green Bay. Find higherlove.com/CBD. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and there is one thing I think everyone can agree on. Potholes stink. And this year's weather will make it one of the worst years yet. Well, Johnson & Sons Paving is ready to take on the challenge with a team that has over 2 decades of experience. When the potholes pop up in your asphalt, Johnson & Sons Paving can patch or replace the whole area. Book an appointment now at johnsonsonspaving.com. Get that appointment booked before May 31st, and you might even see Old T on the job site for a visit. Find full contest details at ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Reggie White, who's a defensive end for the Green Bay Packers, says that the firebombing of his church in Knoxville, Tennessee this week was the work of racists who may have been trying to hurt him.
First there was one fire, then there was another, then there was another.
It wasn't just Reggie's church that burnt down. Hundreds of churches burned in the 90s.
I think we have a major problem in our country that we don't want to admit, and that has to do with racism.
Was this 1996 or 1956?
30 for 30 podcast and Anscape presents Through the Flames. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Walls, and right now, schedule your free in-home estimate, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Plus, a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions apply. You'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Come see Thanalysis live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel on Friday, March 22nd.
Hey, welcome to another Thanalysis show. And we are coming on today's podcast.
Be there for the first ever live show for Thanasis as he's joined by his brother, none other than the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I took off my shoes and I was like, go crazy, go hoop. That's all it was.
Tickets are on sale soon at TALiveshow.com. Thanalysis live at Potawatomi Casino Hotel on March 22nd. TALiveshow.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What we need is a chart. And every week, we take the shirtless picture of Chew, and we move that to wherever the prediction is of how many wins that they have.
8.
6,
7.
7. I think that's how it goes now, right?
8,
and they
6,
lost in each
7,
game.
5, 3, 0, 9.
On 94.5 ESPN.
I, for one, am thrilled with how many of our loyal listeners are trying to make Joshy feel better about his embarrassing injury from over the weekend. We were talking initially about professional athletes and some of the weirder injuries that they sustain. So Alex weighing in on our YouTube page saying Ricky Henderson left ice on too long and got frostbite. I got a story about frostbite I want to get to as the show rolls on. But loyal listeners, popping off on the text line. Let's see. Bill weighing in saying, I broke my rib last year having a long jump competition with my kids in the living room. Greg weighing in saying, in high school, I sprained my ankle playing basketball in the pool. Came down on the side of my ankle, kept sliding down on it because of the lack of friction. That's Greg in Germantown. Linda from the Falls saying her husband tore his calf tripping over the dog walking up the stairs.
I think that's a win for me.
At least it wasn't tripping over your new dog.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people, and there are a few here I have to read before I can read them on the air. Dan weighing in saying, I tore both my ACLs over the last 5 years playing pickup basketball. So Dan did not learn from the first ACL tear playing pickup basketball. And the ACL tear for a layman is about a year still.
Yeah.
It's a full year. Now you're seeing a lot faster at the NFL level, at the professional levels. They've got that round-the-clock training. They're actually doing things to improve the ligament while they're sleeping now.
When I grew up and was a kid, ACLs didn't seem to happen all that often. Now they happen all the time.
There's been studies on that.
Happened and they just didn't get it repaired?
I think there's a lot of that because I've known people who didn't know they tore their ACL for multiple years. And then finally they were like, something's not right here.
Because it's just the lateral movement, right? Like if you're just walking or running, most of the time you're not cutting.
Right.
So you don't need to have that it's the solid, right? It makes what's the word I'm looking for? It's not structure.
The socket?
Stability. Word is stability. It's not the stability with the lateral movement.
I grew up, 6 kids in my family, 5 boys, 1 girl, all athletes, not one surgery. 5 kids I have now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 surgeries. What the hell's what's going on?
So let me ask you a question though. When you were a kid, weren't you doing like I always talk about farm strength?
Yeah.
Like you're just out there doing things every day that basically build up strength across your body. Does that make sense? Maybe that's a way that you were protected from some of these fluky injuries.
Does supplementation have something to do with it? Kids are lifting much more now than back in the day. Are their muscles getting too big for their ligaments?
But again, you were lifting. You just weren't lifting weights.
Yes.
You were doing things around the yard.
Which could probably be more considered core work, probably.
I think the leading theory right now, because this is a big issue, especially in baseball, is overworking and overtraining of those. So it contributes, lifting weights and playing. People play sports more year-round, and they train harder doing them than they did in the past, which I think is contributing. Tommy John surgery is pretty common for baseball players at almost every level at this point. And a lot of it is just,
But Joshy, who don't pitch nearly as much as they did 30 years ago.
They just pitch more frequently and like train harder. Whereas some of those guys back in the day, they just go out and pitch and that was all they did. Like a lot of these kids are constantly training and specializing in things that are harming them.
Right, and that's using the same muscles over and over and over again, whereas before when you were doing multiple sports, those muscles got a break because you pivoted to something else, and then those muscles got worked a lot, but then the season ended and you pivoted to something else, and it seems like that's the big argument for not specializing. But we've talked about this. It's not realistic. I've talked forever about how if you don't start at a certain age in these sports, you get left behind, and you're too far behind to make up the gap unless you're an extraordinary athlete, in which case you would have been doing the thing earlier anyway. Like, it's a weird space that we're in. I talk to parents all the time when I'm at my kids' sporting events, and they talk about how, no, we're not doing the competitive gymnastics for the 6-year-old. No, we're not traveling around. We're not going to Detroit. We're not going to Chicago for competitive meets at 6 years old. And it's like, well, if she has a future in gymnastics, you got to start right now. You can't expect at 8 to pop in and be like, hey, can we hang? Because you can't. You can't hang. 800-990-3776. Let me get to more of this reaction. When I was 50 playing hoops with my brothers, I tore my ACL, one leg going one way, knee going the other. I knew right away. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. My brothers called traveling on me. No mercy. That from Tim in the 414.
Tough group.
Let's see. There's a couple other ones here. Last year, I played dodgeball under the lights at Fort Wilderness. I was the third. I drilled a line drive and immediately tore my groin. I continued to play, told the guys I could cover at second base. I also tore my Achilles playing competitive co-ed soccer 3 years ago. To top it off, I re-tore my Achilles 20 weeks later at work. So he got the Achilles fixed, and then he re-tore it several months later.
What's the age you should stop?
Stop what? This is what we're talking about.
Competitive.
But Joshy didn't know it was going to be competitive. That's the thing.
But now he knows, though.
Right. Well, that's exactly. So
now, how old are you?
35.
35. That's it. Like, Gabe shouldn't be playing basketball.
No, and the thing is, you want to be active and you want to, but just don't compete. That's basically the thing.
Yes.
That's where things go wrong, is when you do the rec league stuff and like a game gets more intense. That's exactly what happened to me. I should have, looking back on it, I should have just said, I'll show up after the games, is when it was where I should have done.
You could have never known, though. You needed this weekend's experience to now know that you are past your prime.
Yes.
Because otherwise, the ego is going to convince you every single day, every single week that you can still hang.
The ego and the booze.
It was one beer, okay?
Sure. No, but you were spared. You were given a warning. It could have been the Achilles, could have been the ACL. Now you should know, shut it down.
Let me tell you, warning received. The amount of fear for that time after suffering the injury was enough to set me straight.
This is unbelievable. It is just like a flood of reaction on the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line.
But I got my notice because I played softball with my buddies after I was done playing, maybe 2-3 years. I was playing left field, and it was a competitive softball league. And I was playing left field, went to field the ball, and stepped in a hole and dislocated my hip very quickly. I could feel it go bump, bump. And I was like, after that, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I've already reached the pinnacle of my athletic career. I really don't need that ribbon.
Yeah. And then you fell off the stairs a few weeks ago at your birthday. So
that's age. That's the athleticism has left my body.
Let me get to a few more before we take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Ashton in Sheboygan saying, I threw out my back putting my daughter down for a nap. I bulged a disc. Yikes. Let's see. I broke my middle finger trying to do the crab walk in 6th grade gym class. That from James in the 608. Oh, that's brutal. You're not getting any girlfriends that way.
The middle finger?
It says the middle finger, yeah. It's kind of cool. Is that what you're going to say? Yeah. Of all the fingers to break, I suppose. I broke my foot after hitting a walk-off home run in softball. My buddy, who's pushing 300, came down on my foot with his cleats while we were celebrating.
That's tough.
Yeah, because, again, highest of highs and whatnot, right?
And, like, you think of that leads you down the Martin Gramatica pathway where he
Celebrating?
injured himself celebrating a field goal.
Number one, if you're wearing cleats to play softball, you got an issue. All right? Let it go.
Jim Harbaugh wears cleats to coach football. So I feel like there's a few of those out there. Keep getting us your reaction. Keep getting us your stories. Joshy tore his calf this weekend playing wiffle ball in basically what was supposed to be just a fun game. Got a little too competitive. We're trying to make him feel better by saying you are not alone. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Damage caused by tornadoes is devastating and traumatic. After these storms, dishonest contractors show up, hoping to make a quick buck from your insurance claim. They'll promise anything if they can get you to sign a contract, collect your payment in advance, and ultimately do no work at all. Avoid being the victim of contractor fraud. Get estimates from at least 3 contractors. Check references, and remember, if you didn't request it, reject it.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT career? So, get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, are you having a hard time dealing with high-interest credit card debt? It's normal, and a SoFi personal loan could help you save thousands by consolidating your DEBT to one low fixed monthly payment. You could get $5,000 to $100,000 as soon as the same day you sign, with no fees required. It only takes 60 seconds to view your rate, and it won't affect your credit score. View your rate at SoFi.com/paid-off. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions at SoFi.com/paid-off. NMLS 696891.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and getting back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote. We take the time to listen and educate you on all your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Whether you're looking to replace your windows due to damage or it's time for a refresh and you'd like to revitalize your home style, choosing from Pella's wide range of windows and doors will complement your home's unique design. Pella can also customize, providing nearly endless possibilities for maximum design flexibility with dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
TBD.
No, not how this works.
Attaboy.
That's not how any of this works.
That's how you make content.
What do you mean? That's how it works for him.
What's TBD mean?
To be determined.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
To be dumb.
Did you hear him say to be dumb?
To be dumb. Did Joshy say that?
He did.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Potawatomi Sportsbook is going through some state-of-the-art upgrades, so for the time being, you can find the temporary sportsbook outside of the marketplace on the casino's first level. The all-new sportsbook, mark your calendars, everybody, opens the first week in May. Are you ready to spark something new? You can light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com. That's paysbig.com. I think we were able to talk ourselves into the possibility that the Packers would not, in fact, do what we know that they are now going to do, which is move on from Devondre Campbell. I think we were able to convince ourselves, given the depth at that position, that maybe, just maybe, they would figure out a way to keep him on, have a little bit of depth there. Not the case. It was announced yesterday that on the league new year, on Wednesday, they will, in fact, cut Devondre Campbell. Surprised you?
No. And he probably would have had a chance to come back if he didn't run his mouth during the middle of the season with, I'm not playing unless I'm 100%. Once he did that, he kind of sealed his own fate.
And the wife also, I'm not blaming her for it, but her saying can't wait till this season is over was not a good look either.
No. And he's still got, he's not worth the money they would pay him, but he probably could have came in as a backup, made a couple $1 million. But once he did that, teams don't want. I think LaFleur is refreshed now that he doesn't have to deal with Aaron, and he's kind of nipped it in the bud. Like, well, I guess that's not totally true because Jair kind of went south on him.
But they had the meeting afterward, and it seemed like that went well.
But no, it's fine. But it is getting a little concerning because I think this is going to be another area that they're going to have to deal with in free agency. And I'm not talking a high market guy, but you need bodies at that position. And with the draft, I mean, I was thinking about this. I could seriously see them packaging maybe a 2 with the 1 to trade up to get a stud linebacker.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you look at San Francisco and what they do. That would not surprise me at all, but I think they need a veteran there, a Halfley veteran who's been in the system to maybe start the season and let a player, if they do that, develop.
I like the idea that you were mentioning about Matt LaFleur kind of being in this power position now, right? Because he always had to kind of take a back seat to Aaron Rodgers, who was the elder statesman, who had been around long enough and who obviously was at the most important position on the field. And then David Bakhtiari was kind of his little buddy, and it seems like all signs are pointing to they're going to move on from him, although it is a little surprising that hasn't happened yet. I don't know why there hasn't been more. If it's leaking out that Devondre Campbell is being cut, I'm a little surprised we haven't heard what their plans are with David Bakhtiari. You mentioned the Jair Alexander thing. If you're bringing in a bunch of new guys at that position especially, you don't want somebody toxic in the room. You don't want somebody who can even in a minuscule way infect new guys, new blood with this idea of I'm only playing when it works for me and I don't like how things went down and you don't want any of that. So I think part of what you're saying, Chew, is right, that just cut your losses.
And I think Jair was one of those guys where LaFleur brought him in and said, we're not doing that anymore. The Aaron Rodgers, David Bakhtiari flexing their muscles, that ship has sailed. So you're either going to do it our way here or you're not going to be here. And I think Jair probably came around to it.
When it comes to the linebacker position, doesn't it feel like since they feel good about Quay Walker, Jason told us they really like McDuffie. It feels like this is kind of the place to bring in a veteran to help them out, like a guy who's played the 4-3, because neither of those guys at the NFL level have played it.
That's a good point.
So a guy who's 32, an Eric Kendricks or like a Levante David, well, they're not in their prime certainly and probably need to be phased out. Like if one of those guys sits on the market, that seems like the perfect spot for them because you can bring them along and then obviously just draft one of the young guys and then kind of have your rotation figured out there.
Gee, I would think a linebacker like Quay Walker would like the 4-3 more than the 3-4, right? Because if you have a D lineman that can sustain double teams and it keeps that lineman on that D lineman longer instead of coming off onto the linebacker, it allows them to run. That's what they do in San Francisco. They let those linebackers there just flat out run. Just run. And I think that's what and I think that's what they're trying to get to. My question is, I don't know if they have the D line yet. In order to do that for these linebackers.
So it sounds to me, Joshy, like you are saying your preference is to go out and get a free agent linebacker as opposed to exclusively bolstering that position in the draft.
Yeah, I think they need veteran help there, especially with the move over, the new defense. Like, I just think it makes it a lot easier. And I mean, we talked about it. Jason talks about this team needs veterans. So if there's a guy there that can kind of, like, if Quay Walker is going to learn from somebody, you'd want it to be a guy who's done it.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Let's put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll as well, given the Devondre Campbell situation and the transition of the defensive scheme. Should the Packers address their linebacker concerns in free agency? Yes or no? We'll put that up there. You can weigh in on that. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolling on right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Things are slowing down across the area right now. We've got eastbound 94 slowing down from 84th Street through the Stadium interchange. The westbound side's going to be backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Looks like we got a broken down vehicle northbound 4394 off on the right shoulder, right on the high-rise bridge. It's not the best place in the world, so watch out for those delays. And then on 894 westbound, as you're coming out of the Mitchell interchange, you'll hit the brakes, and that is going to be slow all the way to about 68th Street. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, breezy, mild, a high of 62. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazagon, 94.5 ESPN.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
David saying Gabe and Brad Nortman are now mortal pink eye enemies.
Oh, like I used to like Brad.
Peggy, we gotta talk. What is it about me that you find so offensive? You seem to be with a lot of men. What?
And if I end up missing this trip because of him, like, we're going to have to do something.
Germ warfare.
What's that?
I don't know, but we're going to figure it out.
Sounds like a federal offense.
Good day. Oh, all right. You think I've got germs? I'll give you some germs.
Biochemical warfare.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes. Illegal. Yeah. Geneva Convention. There is a convention for it.
How about some for your keyboard, huh? How about that? Oh, how about for your stapler? That's good, isn't it?
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Well, look who it is.
Still working, right?
You have to talk because look who it is just a formality on the radio.
Hey guys, it's Ashton. Hey, how's it going? Great show this morning.
Good to see you. Did you hear about what happened to Joshie over the weekend?
Oh, sure did. Been there, buddy. Lame.
No. Lame. He called you lame. Maybe he called the injury lame. I'm not sure. We should probably
No, it's
specify.
not. I've had it.
I am lame right now. Got a lame leg.
But you said that you've had similar situations.
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
so
have,
many.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no.
how can you call it lame? Or are you just saying we're all lame? Everybody who's had these.
Look at me. It's of course I've had these types of injuries. Not even a little. I mean, should I tell my story now? Or should I let Josh tell his story? Because I didn't know if I heard the full story.
Do you consider yourself an athlete?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Wait, but you played baseball for a long time.
Yeah, but not
like
long
I
enough.
said, do you consider yourself an athlete?
Wait, are you out on baseball players?
Baseball players are not athletes per
What?
se.
What is happening right now? What is happening right now?
I kind of agree with you on this. Alex, good to be back, buddy.
Any sport that can have Bartolo Colon dominate for
You want the damn mouth, buddy.
He's great, legend. Love watching him play, but
double families.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's the exception to the rule. I would argue that everyone else out there,
Rowdy Tellez,
almost everyone else out there,
Vogelbach.
almost everyone else out there,
Prince Fielder. We're going to do a Brewers first baseman.
Yeah.
50% of the people out there are athletes. That stinks to like join a sport and like take pride in your athletic prowess and then just be absolutely taken off of the board because you play baseball.
Yeah, but I mean, we can all be honest about this.
Yeah.
Who's the most athletic on a baseball field? The catcher?
Center field. Center field is shortstop.
I think catcher.
Catcher's a good one. Some pudgy catchers, namely Pudge.
Yeah.
There's been 2 guys named Pudge that were catchers. So
Pudge Fisk.
Yeah, and
both played for the White Sox.
Rodriguez did not.
That's a shame. I tried.
Close but not.
So, Ashy, who is joining us this morning for a segment here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, what is your embarrassing injury?
You know how sometimes when it's nice outside and you live in a little hockey town like the Chicago suburbs when they're winning their Stanley Cups and you just want to go play a little street hockey with your friends? Well, I did that, and then I tripped on a curb and I broke my foot.
Wait, you tripped? Wait,
Yeah.
you broke your foot playing hockey?
Playing street hockey, no skates, no
Yeah,
roller.
street hockey
My
is
shoes,
awesome.
these bad boys, just shoes, going a little too hard behind the net for a nice little wraparound action, easy. And I tripped on the curb, which is where the net was placed on, and then I fell and broke my foot.
Like we used to break into
That's
our
not even
high
the most
school
embarrassing one, though.
and play street hockey in the gym.
In the gym, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was so
Love
awesome.
With a little
hockey.
ball, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little orange one.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you my worst story, which is when I chipped my 2 front teeth tripping while walking my bike. And I had a helmet on.
You weren't even riding your bike.
Wasn't even riding it. Had the helmet on.
So
Tripped.
when you tell that story, do you say, so I was with my bike, and you know what I mean? Like, do you say I was with my bike and I fell and broke my 2 front teeth and let them assume that you fell off your bike
The reason
instead
I
of
don't-
walking your bike?
I like to live this story for real because it's so burned into my memory of me falling down in front of my neighbor who was walking her dog, seeing my mouth all bloody and crying, and her asking me what's wrong. And then me being like, nothing, I'm fine, storming back into my house to my dad, who is sitting in there looking at me, laughing, asking what's wrong because I looked like a psychotic person with just blood all over his mouth.
Why am I picturing the kid from A Christmas Story right now who ran inside after shooting his eye out?
Basically.
Didn't want to let anybody know.
What's the most athletic thing you do now? Do you still run?
I run every once in a while. I got to get back into that.
Hoops? I mean, you
Hoops?
should be done with hoops.
How
old are you now?
29 still.
Oh, wow. You look a lot older than that.
That sucks.
I'm just saying, you look a lot older than 29.
Sucks.
Now you can tell everybody about how the worst injury you had was when Chewy hurt your feelings.
Unbelievable.
Does he look older than 29?
Don't answer that.
I don't know if it's a compliment or...
Yeah, and
That's so mean.
let's not do this game on this side of
Okay.
the room either, okay? The game of who looks older.
Real quick, what's is it the baldness? Is that what makes me look older?
the beard, the baldness.
Damn it.
I don't think you look older than 30.
Well, now I'm not 30.
Yeah, you
Shit,
don't look
he
older.
looks like 35.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Coming here to
Let's
hang
be
out with my
honest.
pals and see what's going on and deliver mail for you. Tell Joshy what's up. Unbelievable.
No, you don't look older than 30. I know you're 29, but I'm saying I'm using it as like a even, benchmark. You don't look older than 30 years old.
Yeah, I know. I mean, most athletic thing I do now, get in and out of the food truck all the time.
Stairs.
And you
Stairs,
said
yeah.
and you said you get hurt in the food
All the
truck
time.
often.
So often.
The roof or the ceiling is
Yeah.
too low.
I hit my head a lot on that. Now I hit my head on stuff all the time. So
Is
that's
that
not that big of a
more
deal.
poor planning or clumsiness?
Well, you guys have all met me. I think you know it's probably a little bit of column A, column B, but
Yeah,
mostly
but-
clumsiness.
But the poor planning
Yeah.
thing, I feel like hurts your heart more.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You pride yourself on being very
Yeah. I keep saying I'm going to get little foam things for when you guys are in like doorways or little things, or even worry about like the edges of tables and counters.
with
and
with babies.
yeah, with like babies. So me,
wear your bike helmet.
Giant baby. Well, I've thought about that. Yeah,
He looked like Kazoo.
I really think it would be funny if I wore a football helmet because I have one.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Just
funny
take
if I
the face mask off
Yeah,
and
just
get in
wear
the
the
way?
football
But
helmet
that's
while
going
I'm
to affect
cooking.
your sight lines. Like that's going to
I
affect
got a
your
visor.
vision.
I'm fine.
I think that would be tough. I like the idea of a bicycle helmet.
I don't think anyone would come to the food truck for someone with the bicycle helmet.
Anything new with the food truck? Any?
We're starting
Nothing?
Starting the season soon.
Are you still making snacks here or no?
Nah, I'm too busy these days.
Yeah,
I got a life
seen a
now.
snack in
I
a
got
long
I got a life now. I'm
what
sorry.
do you do though?
I just live my life.
Okay.
I'm not bored at home all the time.
It's because he's not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no.
It's amazing how
You guys
when
weren't
you
getting
don't
the
have
treats
to wake
before,
up
so
at.
it's fine.
It's amazing how when you don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to prep for the show, your life gets exceedingly better.
I got up yesterday at 4:15 to drive my girlfriend to the airport because she was going on a trip. Well, I did not miss that.
Wait, time out. Was she on like a 6 a.m. flight?
6 a.m. flight.
Yeah, I hate the 6 a.m.
Yeah,
flight.
no, wasn't that was I did not miss that drive.
I took a 6er on Saturday. It's a bad idea all the time.
Is that the worst flight you can take?
5:45 is worse.
Good point. Counterpoint.
It's
All right.
better than taking it late.
No.
How much longer are you going to be driving to the airport?
What do you mean? Rest
Well,
of
when
my
you
life?
get married, you don't drive in the airport.
You just didn't make them take an Uber.
right?
I would never do that. What?
Yeah.
You make your wife take an Uber?
Of course.
I'm pro Uber.
Yes.
Oh.
Jen takes an Uber.
Oh, no, I don't plan on doing that.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Joshy?
You will.
Yeah, I mean, and you might kick her the cash to cover the Uber, but you're not going to want to be driving to
I'd rather drive than carry the cash for the Uber.
Maybe
that's
suggest some of the cheap parking options. You can leave your car for time. You know,
guys
they
are
got
horrible.
shuttles.
You guys are terrible.
When will she be back?
Saturday.
Whoa.
I got a whole week. You guys might get treats this week. Somebody bored out of my damn mind.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Ashy, a whole week without the girlfriend?
So bored.
Do you have a dog yet or no?
No, I don't think we're getting a dog yet. No room. Where am I going to run?
I didn't know you guys were living together.
No, soon. I gotta wait for my lease to end. It's been a year.
I miss the jabs.
It's been a year. I mean, what's the jab?
Chewy really prides himself on his interrogation skills, by the way.
He's doing a bad job. I'm answering every question immediately. No sweating. I'm not even. No sweating yet.
You're a changed man.
Thank you.
Ever since.
Hey, called me a man. That's a first.
Yeah.
Well, you're 35. I mean, if you were 29, I'm not going to call you a kid. Put it on the poll.
Oh,
Does Ashy look older than 29?
All right, I'll prove
Answer it honestly, please.
I'll prove it. You can even put that line in there.
You gotta
Answer it honestly.
Wait, you got to put a picture though. You can't just. You can't just
people
expect
just go
people.
to my.
I mean, you can watch right now on the YouTube channel. We are on YouTube. I'm seeing all
I
of
don't
the
look
comments.
great on
We'll
the
get to some of the
YouTube, to be
comments.
honest.
None of us look great on YouTube. Somebody the other day was commenting how I didn't have a hat on. It was the first time. I go, why do you think I wear a hat? This is not a flattering angle.
I miss my backdrop.
You have a backdrop. The wonderful Gruber Lofts
Well,
is one
come
call.
on.
That's all.
I mean, when you compare that to the Hawaiian tropics, which is
we
what he
could
has
get.
behind
I mean,
him.
hypothetically speaking, we could put a background behind you.
I kind of like it.
I like it too. All right, we can make that
It's
happen.
$7 on Amazon.
Oh wait,
It's a good
you
deal.
purchased that? I thought
An
it came.
expense
I
set?
thought it came with the house.
No.
How did you decide on the island motif?
It was Hawaii. I love Hawaii.
That's right.
It's
That's
very-
right. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
You do love Hawaii.
Very lush.
We got a lot of reaction on people who have also been injured. And of course, Ron in the Key said, whomst among us hasn't gotten injured trying hard for a little wraparound action? When you were talking about your wraparound
Yeah. Well,
goal.
hey, I scored though.
Yeah.
I scored.
Let's see. Lots more people weighing in with their injuries. When I was 15, I thought I was a parkour master, jumped halfway down the stairs with an A1 bottle. There's
steak sauce?
got to be more to this story. Tripped and landed on the bottle, requiring 47 stitches.
Where did they land?
Why the
Where
A1
was
in the pocket?
Yeah. Where was the bottle? Why
We're going
A1?
to need more information.
I thought those were plastic bottles. Those
Dave
those are glass.
from Aaron. Dave from Aaron, we're going to need more information on the old A1 injury. I pulled my hamstring during a rec league softball game, had to hit a terrible grounder to short, had to hustle out to first, then halfway down the baseline, I heard a pop. It was black and blue for weeks from cheek to ankle. Can you say ASS? I don't even know.
I think
You can, yeah, just in context. The ass to ankle. There, I'll say it so you guys don't have.
Thank you. I just put
It's a great phrase.
So kiss my. You can't.
You have said that on the air.
But he's
you
asking,
can't?
can
I'd
he?
prefer if you didn't. I feel like this year, I'm glad we're here now for the
You know
last
what?
minute of this
Joshy
segment.
is much more calm than you are.
I'm calm-ish.
No.
He's like, I'm calm.
I'm calm adjacent.
Would you agree with that, Joshy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not as afraid of everything. This
Hey.
guy's afraid of his own shadow.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to be.
Correct.
A little
We
bit,
can
though.
all agree on that.
Still a little bit. mostly.
Scott weighing in saying, I broke my ankle while home on leave from the Army for my bachelorette party playing tackle football in the snow with all my buddies at 2 a.m.
It's a bad idea.
One of my buddies was Chewy's former teammate, Don Davey.
Oh, Don. I
That
love
from
Don.
Scott from Manitowoc.
It's a bad
Ashton,
injury.
I put the poll up there. You can
great,
look
yeah.
at the picture.
No. Where did you find the picture?
I took it off of YouTube.
Why are you like this? I thought we were buddies.
Wow, just so you know, folks are weighing in saying, wow, way older. John saying, looks
Welcome back.
definitely looks older. TB
Oh, come
saying,
on, man. What the hell? I have good pictures. I feel like I should reply with better pictures of myself.
This is going to be a walk.
TB saying, honestly, I would have guessed 38.
Glad you stopped in.
I just wanted to give you your mail.
Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it.
How
Thanks
should
for
I vote?
stopping
Now I
by.
don't know which way I should vote. I'm conflicted.
I think you need all the votes you can get at this point. I'll toss you a courtesy vote.
Hey, you shut up, man. You're the worst.
If you get like 6 or 7 courtesy votes, maybe it
I'm winning right now. 7 votes in, I'm winning.
Again, I will definitely vote for younger. How's that sound? But I said I don't think that you look like you're 38. What was the number
35.
again?
He says 35.
You have grays too, huh?
Yeah, but that's, normal. And
29?
Just
to
on the
have grays?
sides, and then I shave my head anyways, and that's fine.
Okay. Are they in the beard yet?
Wait, it's not letting me vote. Oh, because I logged in as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Somebody already has voted as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I'm going to have to vote as Jen Latta in order to get that vote in.
Everyone since our pity votes have voted against me. So.
Hold on. Does Ashton look older than 29 years old? No, 29 is right. There you go. No, still getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I'm getting crushed right now.
Unlike in my house, my vote here only counts for one. All right, Ashley, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you sharing your story to make Joshy feel better about his injury this weekend. He tore his calf playing wiffle ball. So no crutches for him, though. He's going to basically power through, try to walk his way through the injury. Did they give you, I mean, I know you didn't see a doctor, but are you expecting it to take a week, 2 weeks, a month? What are we talking here?
As we all know, you can trust everything you read on the internet.
Absolutely.
And it says between 1 to 2 weeks. And the pain's gone down pretty significantly.
But you're also on drugs.
Yes. And I plan to be for the next week or two. But if I don't have any black or blue on the back of the leg, which would be a big sign, and I am able to put weight on it. So all of those things lead me to believe it's relatively minor, but still painful and limiting.
If you put a heel lift in, that'll take some of the pressure off, too.
Oh,
they had to actually make me a cleat because I tore it the week before the TO San Francisco game in the playoffs where you caught that at the end. Mm-hmm. And they had to make me a cleat, which was
I'm assuming how much.
weird.
Okay, let's just figure this out really quick. So they put the lift in the shoe. They probably had to add to the shoe in order to fit the lift.
They
right?
put a lift inside my
Right.
shoe, and then they put plastic plates
up on the
underneath.
sides. Oh,
and then affixed my 2 cleats to the plastic that they added at the bottom of the shoe.
Oh. So you were like on a heel. You had like a little bit of a Tom Cruise shoe, if you will.
Which would explain, I think, the one catch for 3 yards.
Yeah. Let's go with that. We got to take a break on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We still want to get to more of the Packers and how they are handling the free agency situation. Obviously, we talked about Campbell being cut. When is the David Bakhtiari stuff going to happen? When are we going to hear about David Bakhtiari? Is there a chance they don't do what everybody thinks they are going to do? We'll talk about that and more right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Things are still slow westbound on 94 as you're making your way out of the 25th Street area to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's going to be a bit heavier, slowing down from 84th Street to about 35th Street. It's about 9 minutes to get from the zoo into downtown. On the westbound side of 894, backing up out of the Mitchell Interchange pretty much does not let up until you get past 68th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, breezy, mild, a high of 62. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Nelnet Incorporated, the nation's largest, most respected student loan servicer, has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Facilities Coordinator, Sunday Heidemann.
James Imaging has been a local provider for us for many years. They are reliable, they're responsible, and they take care of all of our printer needs.
Just what you'd expect from a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
I think we get a great value with James Imaging with their service and the contracts that we have with them, that our cost stays low and we get the most for our money.
Sunday, what's the benefit for you with James Imaging Systems?
It makes my job more enjoyable that I can count on these people to do what they're trained to do, and I have no worries because I know I'm going to be taken care of.
James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, this is Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. One of the best decisions I made recently was getting an infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. They're a local business that's been around for 2 decades, based right in Appleton and Waukesha. Good Health Saunas are easy to install, cost as little as 25 cents a day, and include a true lifetime warranty. Even firefighters all across the country trust Good Health Saunas for sweating smoke out of their skin after fighting fire. Learn more at goodhealthsaunas.com. That's goodhealthsaunas.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I don't know which is which, but here's what I do.
Yes, all right.
I take the plus and I put it to the plus. I take the minus and I put it to the minus.
Yeah, but the jacker things don't have the.
Yeah, they do.
Where?
Sure do. On the handles.
What's a jacker thing? And is it something that your wife keeps in the drawer?
He meant jumper cables.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Can't say enough about my friends over at Professional Construction Inc. in Waukesha. Over the years, we have had them help us whenever we get out over our skis on a home improvement project, or we just have something pop up. Like when the woodpecker was putting holes in our siding and we didn't know what to do. The folks over at PCI, well, they did. They came over, took care of it for us, and basically taught us how, if it happens again, we could handle it. Same thing with the balcony off the back of our house. The balcony was leaking water into our kitchen. Folks over at PCI said, we know what's going on. We can handle that as well. Not to mention them doing the entire remodel on our basement, which is still one of my favorite parts of our house. If you are in the market for a remodeling project or a home addition, or maybe you're thinking about building a new home, check out my friends over at PCI. You can find more information on their website, professionalconstructioninc.com, professionalconstructioninc.com. Chewy just alerted me to a report. I'm not even sure how this started, where it came from, but I'm going to find out. About the Dallas Cowboys to make an immediate call to sign Packers running back Aaron Jones. That is a report. I'm guessing it is, I'm not even sure where it comes. I'm looking at it right now on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated, yeah.
Free agency is now beginning. It seems the national media has already exhausted itself with scoops about which star running back the Dallas Cowboys are about to sign. The latest report says the Packers running back Aaron Jones, as the two sides are reportedly negotiating a pay cut, and if a new deal isn't reached, the cap-strapped pack might be forced to waive Jones. And then, of course, they're saying that the Cowboys would be interested in Jones. I thought we talked about how the Packers already went the pay cut route with Jones, and it would be a little greedy to go again back to that well.
I wonder if this puts the brakes on renegotiation.
Well, that's what this report is alluding to, right? Again, I haven't read through the whole thing. I can continue reading it.
And it's twofold, Jen, because what teams, and Dallas is an upper echelon NFC team. So what they try to do
Packers.
is so are the Packers, San Francisco, Philadelphia. So what they try to do is upgrade that position for them, and it doubles as taking a chink out of the armor for the Green Bay Packers. That's why they're so hot onto it. But, I mean, if I'm Aaron Jones, and I'm sure his agent already knows this, you can kind of force their hand.
Isn't that why this report is out there?
Yeah.
Joshy, doesn't this feel like a little manipulative? I'm not saying that Aaron Jones is manipulative because it's all business at this point.
Right.
But the most important thing that you need to do in these negotiations is create leverage. And if you've got Dallas, which, by the way, I believe Aaron Jones is a Texas guy.
Yes, he grew up a Cowboys fan.
So if you can get the Cowboys, if you're his agent, you can go to the Cowboys and say, look, Packers are asking Jones to take a pay cut. Doesn't really want to take a pay cut. Already did that last year. You guys saw how good he was in the game against you. Feels like maybe if you guys, because they already have Tony Pollard as a free agent, feels like it was easy for the agent to go to the Cowboys and say, things might not work out in Green Bay. Would you be interested? They say, yes, we'd be interested. Push the report out there to put pressure on the Packers. Yay or nay?
Yeah, it's a little weird because he is under contract, so it's not like they're dealing in free agency here and it's the Packers competing against the Cowboys. The Packers have him on their team next year if they don't change anything. They obviously want to because he's going to be paid a lot of money. So, I guess, depending on where they are in the negotiations, the Cowboys could just tell him, we'll pay you more than what they're going to. Yeah. So he just goes out and says, cut me. Now, do we think Aaron Jones is going to go that way? Do we think he's that fed up with taking pay cuts? I don't know. He seems like a guy who wanted to be with the Packers long term. It's also funny that after he ran all over them, now the Cowboys go, hey, that guy looks good.
Players don't mind taking pay cuts. Well, they don't love it, but they're more receptive to taking pay cuts as long as they can make it back with incentives. And I don't know if he had that. I don't think he had that in this past year's contract. It was just a straight pay cut.
Yes.
Or at least I didn't hear anything of it. So, what would you do if that report came out, your agent said, hey, Dallas is interested in you? Would you sit there and go, all right, well, I want 14, I want 13 million?
Is Dallas only interested if Tony Pollard doesn't? Is Tony Pollard gone? Or can the Dallas Cowboys still?
Yeah.
So then this is just them doing due diligence, right?
Yes.
This is the Cowboys going, we lost a running back. We need a running back. There's a guy out there that, again, like you said, is under contract. But if the Packers are trying to go to that well again of, can you take less money?
The problem is his cap number, right? Isn't his cap number like 17 million or something like that? Something obnoxious. I don't know. It's going to be a dance.
And then, of course, too, the next layer to this is we just talked about safety. We just talked about linebacker. You've been banging the drum on running back, but that's under the assumption that Aaron Jones is coming back. If Aaron Jones is gone, then you have to address that, right?
My guess is you got to go get Eckler. You got to go get someone pretty damn good. It's going to cost you money.
Well, let me give you the free agent list that I got in front of me here on CBS Sportsnet, cbssports.com. Derrick Henry is on that list. You've already mentioned him. Josh Jacobs is on that list. We haven't talked a lot about him. Saquon, obviously. Tony Pollard, who we just mentioned with the Cowboys. Austin Eckler. DeAndre Swift.
He's had 2 kicks at the cat, and they didn't really work out.
Zach Moss. I don't know much about Zach Moss. I'd have to investigate a little bit more.
He filled in very well after Jonathan Taylor went out.
Yeah.
He was one of the leading backs.
A.J. Dillon, LOL, on the list as well, because he is obviously a free agent running back. And J.K. Dobbins of the Baltimore Ravens. That's who I have on this list.
And don't buy into, because it's kind of overblown when they talk about Aaron Jones going back to where he grew up and stuff. I had no desire to go back to New England when I played. I didn't care. Players, they don't really care.
Some
about
guys
that
do,
stuff.
though.
So I guess some guys do.
In fact, doesn't he do a lot of charity work down in Texas?
Was he a Texas Tech guy?
UTEP.
No. Oh, UTEP. Okay.
Right.
I mean, we'll have to eyeball this. It's going to get interesting, but this is the dance. This is the dance. So,
whose side would you be on, though, Joshy? If the Packers went to Aaron Jones and said, we need you to take another pay cut, not knowing all of the intimate details, but if that were the case, are you on the side of the Packers or are you on the side of Aaron Jones?
It's hard to determine because I think Aaron Jones has earned more money than most running backs. His inability to stay on this field this season, but then when he was on the field late in the season, reeling off 5 games with over 100 yards, like
most important part of the season, by the way.
It's two things where the Packers can say, "Yeah, man, you're getting older. We can't promise your health. So why are we going to pay for past performance? Like I can't guarantee this moving forward." And like the market is what the market is at running back at this point. It's a young man's game, and the guys as they get older just don't get paid the same.
where would you put Aaron on that list?
He's the best one.
No. I would put Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and then would you put Aaron
You're
Jones?
not worried about Saquon coming off the injury at all, huh? Just like that?
No.
Because people say
He's
that he
still
has
young.
lost a step.
You think?
That's what I hear.
Is Josh Jacobs better than him?
I think they're pretty similar.
Hand in hand. But would you agree that those two are better than Aaron Jones at almost 30, or I don't know if he is.
They're better investments, I'd say that. You probably get more out of them at this point than.
But if you're Aaron Jones's camp, so let's just play it from his side, you know they're moving on from A.J. Dillon.
Yes.
You know that the other option there is Emmanuel Wilson. You're in a position of power. You're in a position of strength. Because you say you want to decimate the whole room? You want to have, the only guy that you have there is Emmanuel Wilson? Or, and that's where I feel like if the Packers did go to him in that situation, knowing that A.J. Dillon is gone, if I was Jones, I'd be like, no way, man. Absolutely not.
Was Aaron Jones here with McCarthy? Does he go that far back?
How long has he been here?
I think he did, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah, he's got to be. So then there's that connection. I'm telling you,
2017 was his rookie year.
Would you give him 13 right now?
Well, he's already under contract for 12.
Yeah, so his cap hit 17. The dead cap would be 10-ish million. Yearly cash is 12. So I think what they're trying to do is promise as much of that money as he already has. Like they're just, I don't expect him to go anywhere still. But I think what his agent is doing is, hey, whatever this cut is you guys are talking about and we all know about, that's not as much as you think. Which is fair.
I don't think he does take a cut.
I think the agent's point is to drive up interest elsewhere, find a team that would be willing to pay what Jones is getting. If the Packers were to say, we offered you a pay cut, it didn't work, we got to cut you because the money, we can't get the numbers to line up. That's why I'm saying, whose side would you be on? I think I'm on Jones's side.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I think there's been a lot of criticism of Aaron Jones, and Gabe has been kind of leading that charge as well, year after year, of like, he's not dependable. You don't know if he's going to be able to be out there when you need him. And I think it's unfair. I think in part it was the way he was being used when Aaron Rodgers was under center. Did he deal with injuries last year? He did. I'm not going to sit here and try to ignore that fact. But I think a lot of it was the way that Rodgers ran the offense. The front office or whoever it was just didn't think that they could run him out there as often as they wanted to.
I think it's when two different coaching staffs tell us a guy can't sustain a workload for a full season, I think that's more than just them being overly conservative. The guy's pretty slight. If you look at him next to...
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody's going to sit here and say he's the biggest guy out there.
But when he's
rivaling Saquon or Derrick Henry in size.
And his injuries are what? Hamstring, which is not a big deal. I mean, it's not a Christian Watson deal. It's not like a nagging shoulder or a bad back or something like that. Because I tell you who I think is going to enter once they see this is Philadelphia.
And
because
again,
they
if
haven't
Jones's
had a back that worked
agent
out.
is worth his salt, he should be finding other teams out there who are willing to pay him to convince the Packers that taking another pay cut is not in his best interest or the team's
we
best
talked
interest.
about how much we'd pay Jordan Love. What would you pay Aaron Jones to make this nonsense go away? Would you give him 13?
I don't think you have to overpay him. I think you just have to pay him what you owe him, which is $12 million. I think it's asking him to take the pay cut that's probably ruffling feathers. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think it's just negotiating at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Jones does agree to some form of pay cut. They're just trying to, secure him an extra handful of millions of dollars. Like, instead of him going down to 7, they want 10. Something along those lines. Which I think is fair, and I think Aaron Jones has the right to that money at this point. Especially if they plan to use him the same way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's a lot of wear and tear on me. You need to pay for this. You're not going to be able to shorten my career by using me a ton and then not pay me what I'm worth. I think that's his argument.
I'd just like to know how much Dallas, because I'm sure the agent already knows
what they would be willing to pay.
How much Dallas would be willing to pay.
How much did they clear with Pollard? Do we have any idea? When Pollard became a free agent? We can look that up. We'll continue here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I appreciate the insight on that because I was not aware of this storyline that Dallas would make an immediate call to Aaron Jones should he become available. And I asked you, if that were to happen and you heard that the Packers had asked Aaron Jones to take a pay cut, which side of that ledger would you fall on, the Packers side or Aaron Jones side? Go ahead and weigh in on that on our ESPN Milwaukee Twitter account. Let's see. Yes, technically Aaron Jones isn't a free agent unless they cut him. Yes, Tim, we had mentioned that. Appreciate that insight as well. Justin weighing in saying, why would Jones go to Dallas? McCarthy never used him in Green Bay. Would he use him in Dallas? And then Dave giving us insight on the A1 accident. We will get to that right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Your next hangout spot is found right in Waukesha. Q Club of Wisconsin is the perfect place to catch a game, play some games, and grab a drink. Bocce courts, dartboards, foosball tables, and, of course, pool tables. 10 of them. Plus, Q Club of Wisconsin has its best fish fries on Wednesdays and Friday nights, and they just pile it high. Check out the live music on Saturday and stop in for brunch every weekend starting at 9 a.m. It's all happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin on North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Visit qclubwi.com or like them on Facebook.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Well, we got an accident now. Eastbound 94 right in the stadium interchange off on the right shoulder. So heads up with that. We are seeing delays from 84th Street through the stadium itself. Westbound 894 backing up from about 27th Street through the Loomis area, pretty much all the way to 68th Street. That's where it starts to open up. Everywhere else is looking pretty good. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly sunny, breezy, mild with a high of 62. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Right now, the prices of diamonds are probably the lowest we'll see in our lifetime.
Diamond prices are low, low, low. Here's why.
It was hard to meet new people during COVID.
When a person meets their soulmate, they usually get engaged about 39 months later.
People started dating again only about 36 months ago.
Most of the people who got engaged during COVID
or immediately after COVID
were already in a relationship before the COVID lockdown began.
The Wall Street Journal even published a story about all of this.
Low sales of engagement rings created a worldwide oversupply of diamonds.
But now, engagement ring sales are beginning to pick up again.
By the end of next spring, this temporary oversupply will be gone.
And diamond prices will start climbing like crazy.
If you ever wanted to own a big diamond, this is the year to do it.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you want to own a big diamond, the time is now.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. This is more.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Gabe, it'll change your life. Any barbecue you eat for the rest of your life will be measured against Buc-ee's.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Spring is the season of growth, and at Great Midwest Bank, they are growing with the community. At Great Midwest Bank, they are proud to be your local bank, investing in the success of you. Connect with Great Midwest Bank today to experience the local banking difference. Experience your state of banquility immediately. Visit greatmidwestbank.com to get started on your local banking journey. You know, it's funny. I thought that we might have exhausted the entire tell us your stupid injury stories to make Joshy feel better about tearing his calf while playing wiffle ball this weekend. A very competitive wiffle ball game that he was not prepared for. Fritz weighing in on the 414 saying, I tore my cartilage in my knee while doing the bump on the dance floor. What is the bump?
Bump and grind?
I know the hump. I don't see nothing wrong. Maybe it is the bump and grind. Was playing tennis with my 5-year-old son. He lobbed one over my head. I turned to run for it, rolled my ankle, broke my foot, and screamed the F word in front of many, many children. That from Casey in Sheboygan. Let's see. I wanted to get back to the A1 accident. Dave from Aaron was nice enough to give us more details on that. So here's what it says. Actually, let me see if I can find. Sometimes this thing will let you, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so Dave in Aaron told us earlier when he was 15, he thought he was a parkour master and jumped halfway down the stairs with an A1 bottle, tripped and landed on the bottle, requiring 47 stitches. No chew, I did not stitch that one myself. 47 is a lot of stitches.
That's a lot.
Holy.
It's like putting your hand back together.
So he says, back to the A1 accident. We had an open basement and my stepdad was grilling in the backyard, said I needed to grab the A1 and bring it to him. That's when the accident happened. Worst part is he thought I was joking when I came out saying I needed to go to the hospital because my arm was covered in sauce. When I showed him, he realized it was pretty bad. That ain't sauce, buddy. That's not what that was. That is a very, I don't know how bad you feel like the calf pop is, but stitches to me always takes it up another notch.
Mm-hmm.
Like blood and needing to go to the hospital to have it repaired feels like that's another level.
Well, Benny's was pretty stupid.
Oh, yeah.
What did he trip over the tablecloth and...
Oh, yeah.
Got two stitches in his finger in the ambulance.
Yes, and was passing out in the car. At this point, and I appreciate the loyal Jen, Gabe, and Chewy listeners here, I feel like I got off easy in comparison.
That's very good point.
I've got no surgery in my future. I had no trip to the hospital. I have no stitches. It feels like walking with a limp and having, my hips are sore because of the limp I'm walking with. Feels like I got off easy.
What time of day did this happen?
At about 1:30.
Did you keep it going or did you shut it down?
Stayed out till 7:30.
Nice. Rub some dirt on it.
It was a sight when we were walking bar to bar, though. Thankfully, a few of my friends would stay back with me as the crew all all went much faster. But, you got to grind through it.
And you did.
I did.
How'd you feel in the morning?
Oh, terrible. Horrendous. Yeah. I tried to hydrate, tried to do all that.
Yeah, a little late.
Yeah,
I feel like I might have the Hall of Fame story, guys. Hall of Fame story. We were asking for your dumb injuries to make Joshy feel better about his from this weekend where he popped his calf playing wiffle ball. James weighing in on the YouTube page, okay? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
A friend of mine had a stripper fall off of a pole above him at his bachelor party a week before his wedding. He was carted off in an ambulance, had to get a neck brace. He ruptured a disc in his neck. Now, how do you explain that one to the
now,
wife?
All I'm picturing is dodgeball, where he was at the cheerleading tryouts and the heavyset girl fell on his face. That's what I'm picturing right now.
That one, is that wedding postponable?
I think.
How do you explain that to
if your fiance finds out how it went down?
My guess is you didn't tell that story.
No, maybe James is actually outing his buddy right now on the radio. 15 years we've kept that a secret, James. For some stupid radio segment, you sell us all out. Jalen weighing in saying, when I was 9, I was kicking a soccer ball through the house, went out of the garage door. The door was wooden with metal weather stripping. Wind took the door and my hand got caught in the door. Middle finger, top part cut off. Had to have a pin hold the bones in place after that. Yeah, you know what? You did get off. Yeah. Given all of the stuff that people are telling us about this morning, you 1,000,000% got off easy by popping your calf. I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't have any dumb injuries. Like I told you guys, I hurt my groin. What was that, like 6 months ago, almost a year ago now, where I was training for the triathlon and I hurt my groin. But that was just training, like probably too much too soon type of thing.
Yeah, I do have another one, which was it was alcohol related. I tripped over a curb, and when I braced myself on the landing, I hurt my shoulder, which in the moment didn't hurt much, but it's still to this point where whatever I did to the shoulder, it's still weaker than the other arm, which is not, like, it was just a curb there. I was walking and wasn't paying attention.
I'm just picturing we were in Chicago after Angie sold the. She literally got stuck in one of the drainage grates.
Like her heel?
Her foot. Couldn't get it out.
How do you get your foot stuck in a drainage grate?
Alcohol.
Do you have tiny feet? Like thin feet?
Have you seen those grates?
No, I'm picturing like, an inch and a half. Like, what are we talking about here?
No, her whole foot was stuck in there.
How did it get out?
A lot of prying. Frank was there to help. We were going to leave her there because I think that would have been kind of funny.
Yeah? How would that have worked out for you?
That night? Yeah, not good.
Randy weighing in saying bump is when you bump hips while dancing. I didn't know that. Bump hips, that's called the bump?
And did you injure yourself?
Yeah, does that information make it better or worse?
Oh, sounds like you might have osteoporosis.
Listen, I can't thank our loyal listeners enough this morning for sharing with us their stupid injury stories because, again, Joshy was feeling a little down. He's feeling a little embarrassed, a little ashamed of how it all came about this weekend. But I feel like the loyal listeners have come to your aid, and you'll walk out of here well, you won't walk.
Yeah.
You'll limp out of here today feeling a lot better about how it all went down. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Before we do, from the biggest plays on the court, the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. It's Bucks in 6. It's on the Bucks Plus audio network. And if you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Dame, and catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. My why is diversity in unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
This is the time of year to enjoy your life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It is a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own ability to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk and run, climb stairs, play golf, move again, pain-free. No pain pills, no risky surgery. This is an all-natural solution. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. Take action now. Live your best life this spring and summer. And it's a great use of your tax refund check. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
We have so much going on. We're the place to be for basketball season with TVs everywhere. Book a party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Sign up for summer bocce leagues now before they fill up. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays where we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Buthan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Guys, let's talk. When I turned 40, I was feeling burnt out, unsatisfied with my marriage and career. I couldn't recognize the man I'd become. Honestly, I thought I would never be the same man again. Then I figured out I had lower testosterone and found Nugenix Total T. It changed everything. After 1 month, I rediscovered the man I know I am. That guy from my youth. I was hitting the gym, feeling passion in my marriage, feeling more energetic at work. Nugenix Total T includes Testofen, a patented ingredient clinically shown to boost free and total testosterone. And right now, you can get a complimentary bottle and try Total T for yourself. Just send a text. Text CASH to 369-369 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 369-369. That's CASH to 369-369. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm telling you, don't doubt his story because he heebie-jeebies at certain times to miss field goals.
Yeah.
Gabe, I showed you how he does the heebie-jeebies,
Heebie-jeebie,
right?
heebie-jeebie, heebie-jeebie.
You take your
heebie-jeebie.
fingers and you rub them back and forth on your thigh and you go heebie-jeebie, heebie-jeebie. Swear the guy bats 100%. So to call him a liar and he puts a curse on you?
Look, I'm not calling him a liar.
Yeah, you are.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
Tim Stellis weighing in on the YouTube page. He says middle school gym class, playing a game on the wrestling mats, on our hands and knees, lunged forward to get the ball, snapped and dislocated both of my thumbs. Casts on both arms for 6 weeks. Woof. That is rough for a number of reasons. You don't have use of either of your hands for 6 weeks. Start getting those
it's a
feet
long
ready.
6 weeks.
Start getting your feet ready. I brought this up earlier, and before we go, I got to mention this. Over the weekend, apparently a report came out, guys, that multiple, not one, this is where it got me, not one person, multiple people had to undergo amputations after suffering frostbite during a near-record cold Kansas City Chiefs playoff game in January. Hospital would not provide the exact number, but said in a statement it treated dozens of people who had experienced frostbite during the game. How do you not know you're experiencing frostbite to the point of having a limb amputated, you guys? Amputated!
That's crazy.
I mean, I know those tickets were expensive, Joshy, but at some point, like, common sense has to kick in, right?
You'd think so, but there's alcohol involved. There is, frostbite. I don't know the exact how it happened, but when you get cold, things go numb and you start to lose feeling in it, which is a pretty good sign you're too cold and you're trying to bear through it too much. What's interesting here is I saw this last week, midweek, and I think when the person said, hey, my fingers got amputated, they then did some reporting on it and figured out this was a thing that happened to many people.
Many people. It wasn't just the one guy.
So at that point, it's almost like it's probably a bad idea they even played that.
Great question.
Was it
great
that
point.
cold?
Let me see some of the numbers
we got
saw.
ice ball. I've never heard about.
Yes, it was like negative 40 wind chills.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind gusts made the wind chill minus 27 degrees.
Yeah.
That shattered the record for the coldest game at Arrowhead Stadium. That's the Dolphins-Chiefs game. That's a really good point because I believe it was the same day that they canceled the Bills game.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
But that was because of snow, not cold.
Ooh, so maybe there's a little bit of negligence happening here on the part of the NFL.
I believe it was cold, wasn't it? Wasn't that part of the...
Yeah, but I mean,
issue?
the NFC champion... I mean, they said the Ice Bowl was minus 50-something, and then our NFC championship game was right around that, I think 21. They should have gave us a call. I had no idea about the wood you put on the concrete and put your foot on that. Did you know that?
You mean like the buffer layers to keep your... Yes.
To keep the cold from the concrete from going...
Yes.
Right up through your boots.
Yeah, people just use cardboard now.
See, now, you know what they need to do? People in Green Bay need to put out a tutorial.
Yeah.
Because people in Green Bay are dealing with this all the time. Maybe not record cold like this, but very, very, very cold. And so you got to tell people your tricks. You got to tell them about the heated vests. You got to tell people about the cardboard or whatever it is on the ground. You got to tell people about the whiskey in the pocket and whatever else is keeping you warm out there at Lambeau Field on those frigid bleachers.
Unless we're playing them, and then you tell them to take your shirts off.
Show us how tough you are.
You're tough.
Come on. Only tough players don't have sleeves underneath their uniform.
How did the Ashton poll work out? Very curious.
I'm looking at it right now. He's losing 82% that he looks at least 35.
Nice. Nothing better than starting Monday off with a win.
You're such a jerk. Thanks for hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Wildy and Tausch is next on ESPN Wisconsin.
Eastbound 94 still dealing with an accident in the stadium interchange. So